All right, so one thing that I want to start off by saying is that when you go to animate, when you go to try to get this guy to move, you need to have some patience. It's going to take a while for you to learn how to use this program, so I need you to have some patience. So I want to look at the properties over here. You open up this properties, see where it says FPS. That means that you have 24 frames per second. It's going to take 24 frames for you to animate this guy into 1 second of video. So we're going to do this slowly and patiently. Okay? First thing I want to do is you want to select the subselection tool. Remember before how I kind of showed you that when you use this subselection tool, you'll be able to see sort of the skeleton of this stick figure that we created. Okay? So now I'm going to actually be able to grab certain points of this stick figure and move them around. And that's how we're going to animate this guy. And if one leg it might be a little bit shorter than it needs to be, I can always stretch it. And I can even make it look like it's a little bit of a bend to the ankle there or whatever. So very patiently we're going to go ahead and do this. First thing we want to do is we want to click on this. This is the very first frame that we created right here. That's where this stick figure lives right now. We're going to go click on the one right next to it, hold down your control button, go to insert keyframe. That's going to create another frame with the very same guy in it, except this is the next frame, right? So now you can actually make him move a little bit. So if I take this arm and bring it down, and I take this and make it so that it's not a long arm, so it doesn't look abnormal. And if I take this knee and move it in a little bit, maybe make this elbow come down a little bit. So now you'll notice that we already have an animation going on. I'm going to go to the next frame, control, hold down the control button, click, insert frame. Now we're going to go ahead and make another movement. I'm going to take this guy, move this arm this way. I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to move it this way. I'm going to take this knee and bring it in a little bit more. And I might even take the neck this time and kind of slide it over a little bit so that the body starts to move to the right. And since the body's moving to the right, I'm going to also use the selection tool here to grab the head and move it over a little bit as well. So now I'm going to start to get him moving a little bit. So here we go. We got 3 frames already. 1, 2, 3. 3 movements. And this is how you're going to do this. 1 frame at a time. 1 movement at a time. Control, click, insert frame. Again, we're going to have the sub-selection tool selected. We're going to click on the stick figure. We're going to be able to move the limbs into the places that we want them to go. Maybe move the waist over a little bit this time. Maybe move this knee over a little bit this time. Maybe move this ankle over a little bit this time. And make sure that it doesn't look like it has a abnormal foot there. Now we've got 4 frames. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now once you have, say, maybe a sequence of animations that you kind of like and you want to sort of repeat, you can always go click on the first frame, hold down the shift key, click on the last frame, and then we can hold down the control button and click and copy these frames, and then go to the next frame, control button, hold down the control button, click, and paste frames. And now I've got the very same 4 frames repeating themselves. Okay, so last thing I'll show you here, let's go to controls, right here at the top where it says control. I'm going to go ahead and select loop playback, and then when I want to play this thing so I can see how it's starting to look, I can just hit the return button on my key, on my keypad, on my keyboard, and that'll show you what we've got going on. So you notice how quickly this is moving through all these frames. That means that the movements that you want to apply in each of these frames should be very subtle so that you don't have him looking, really spastic. So you want to make these movements very subtle. Remember, 24 frames equals 1 second.